Hello, welcome back to Berkley Local. This is the show that belongs to the Berkley Chamber of Commerce. We talk to members of the Berkley Chamber about their businesses in the Berkley area. I'm your host, Chris Weigel, and today, Chazzano Coffee Roasters.
Yes.
Thank God.
Very good.
Frank Lanzkron-Tamarazo.
Even better.
Managing partner and, most importantly, master roaster is my guest.
It's true.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in. We were talking earlier about coffee. I was worried I didn't know what to talk about for coffee for half an hour, but it sounds like you're well-versed.
We could talk all day long.
Talk all day long. Okay. First, let's get out of the way. So the location in Berkley is on 12 Mile. What's the corner people should look for?
It's Cumberland and 12 Mile.
Okay.
2725 12 Mile Road.
And it's open Monday through Friday.
From 10 a.m. to 4.
Okay. And then occasionally there's a Sunday that's open.
Absolutely. And the next one, September 10th.
September 10th.
On, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
And if you're interested in finding out exactly when those other Sundays might pop up, you can check them out on Facebook or online. And periodically on a Sunday will be open every month.
Yes.
You guys, what do you do there?
We roast coffee fresh to order.
Okay.
That's it. 90% of my business is coffee beans, ground or whole bean. For wholesale accounts or retail, we deliver straight to your house, a pound of coffee minimum,
Okay.
30 minutes around the cafe, and also 30 minutes around my home in Mount Clemens.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So nice large area, and we ship coffee all across the country.
And you said today on your drive over here to Troy, you were delivering coffee, right?
Delivering coffee, and when I leave here, deliver more coffee.
On average per day, how many deliveries do you think you do?
But we do about 10 to 20 locally every day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so it's a lovely life. We always did that.
Okay.
And we used to have a coffee club where we deliver 2 pounds of coffee every 2 weeks to your house, things like that. We're no longer doing that, but we always deliver it. I always felt whenever you have a business of any kind, you have to make it as easy as possible for people to buy from you.
Right.
So
how long have you been at the Berkley location?
since I bought the building in June of last year,
2022.
And we started January 3rd.
Okay. Very good. And before that, you were where were you?
We were in Ferndale on East 9 Mile for over 13 years.
Okay. And so now it's been a year, 8
Yeah,
months?
almost 9 months there.
And
it's awesome.
Why Berkley? Why are you in downtown Berkley? What do you like about Berkley? What was the choice?
That's a really long conversation. I mean, that could be hours, what I love about Berkley.
Sure.
But I wanted to buy a building.
Okay.
I've been looking for a building for 10 years with all the different things that I needed, slow traffic, where there's a red light close by, under 30 miles per hour, all of that. But it's also a downtown that's not crazy busy with big box kind of stores.
Right.
That's not the kind of place that's perfect for my business. And Berkley has an awesome downtown, walking town, lots of mom and pop kind of businesses. So it's the perfect location for my business. I have more room for my coffee beans, for the tons and tons of coffee beans. I was able to buy a second roaster there. I have outdoor seating. There's a nice large wall where I can put a mural that's almost done.
Around.
It is a dream come true.
Like there's the front of it, and then it looks like that's from above, right?
With a brand new roof.
And then this was this past January? Was this ribbon cutting? Okay.
I think February maybe.
February, okay.
And that was nicely well attended, and my 3 kids, so we tried to put them in the same place they were when I did the ribbon cutting for Ferndale, but it didn't work out.
And are the children involved in the day-to-day business?
I have one child who, my 20-year-old Doris, who comes to work for us occasionally.
Okay.
But I have another son, Max, who's working for Ford, and another daughter that's working for Buffalo Wild Wings
And
right now.
The daughter that works with you, is she on the road to become a master roaster?
No. I love my children incredibly, and they are all awesome. She's on the road to become an awesome writer. She's going for a master's degree in Wayne State in history. This is not anyone's insane passion except mine.
So how did you become a master roaster?
Part of the insanity of deciding, my mother-in-law gave me $100 for my birthday about 20-something years ago.
Okay.
And I was a cantor in a synagogue in New Jersey and bought this roaster. It's about this high, roast a couple of ounces and bought a couple of ounces of coffee. One was Costa Rica Tarazu, my first coffee I ever roasted. And it tasted like caramel, chocolate. It was so good. It was like a fine wine. I said, this is cool. Let me get a couple more ounces and then it went from tens of pounds, hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds in my garage, coffee from all around the world. I'd come home from synagogue at 10:30 at night in New Jersey, and I would roast coffee until about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd wake up in the morning and get to synagogue at around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and do the whole thing all over again.
At that point, the caffeine helped you get up after spending that much
Yeah,
time late
no,
nights,
it's just caffeine has no effect on me. So there are times that I'm really tired and I wish just privately that it would work on me a little bit.
So
but I could drink over
like
20
1 a.m.
cups.
and wake up at 6 and not wow, okay.
I often, sometimes I'll drink like 8 cups of coffee before I go to bed just because I'm thirsty.
Okay.
And has no effect. I could sleep like a baby.
Before you started that, professionally, nothing to do with beverages, nothing to do with coffee?
No, nothing at all. I was
inspired.
clergy in a synagogue,
Right.
and I think it's something genetic.
Okay.
There's no proof about that. I'm not going to do any genetic testing on that.
Okay, now I'm going to look into it too deeply. Okay,
But
so
it was a good thing to have that caffeine ability.
Right, exactly.
Especially when I decided to become a coffee roaster.
were you well? So you're in the garage every night till 1 a.m.
Taking meticulous notes,
Roasting
writing in a big book, everything I roasted, how long it took me, the temperature I reached. Then I would grind it, do tasting notes of it,
Okay.
And do that every night. For about 10 years. And I also spent that whole time working on a business plan, and I wrote up maybe like 10, 20 different business plans.
You didn't know when you first got the coffee you were going to go. You probably thought you were going to stay at your previous job, right?
Absolutely, because it's insane.
Okay.
It's crazy
Right.
to start your own business,
And
to start some kind of and a coffee roaster, cafe. That's crazy.
You just started keeping track of everything you were doing.
Everything I was doing. And also, I'd go into cafes and restaurants
Okay.
whenever I'd visit any cafe restaurant, and I would take meticulous notes also about customer service and how they treated people, how they explained everything. And so by the time I came to Farmington Hills as a job as a cantor, and it didn't work out, I wanted to stay in Michigan, and I decided, life is short. It's time to do something that I really, that there's no politics. It's all me. If I fail, I fail. If I succeed, that's even better.
This was about 12 years ago or so?
This is about 14. This is 2008.
Okay.
When in 2007 where I really made that decision, but 2008 I really
got to
started.
Michigan. Okay.
And then 2009, I started in Ferndale, where the brick and mortar.
So like a self-taught master roaster.
Yes.
Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
I read every book about coffee roasting known to mankind.
So what's some of the arcane knowledge of coffee roasting that, for example, a layman like myself would have no idea about? What have you learned?
I mean, one little fun fact is that wine has 750 different flavor profiles and coffee has 1,500, twice the complexity.
Wow.
So that's pretty arcane. It's kind of interesting, and I always liked great wine, microbrews of beer. It was all part of that. And my wife and I have spent way too much money throughout our marriage and our dating. We've been dating for 35 years and married over 28. We've gone to every awesome restaurant. So we love fine tasting food. We like fine food, fine beverages. So that passion is well placed.
In your studying of the roasting, have you developed any patented new techniques of roasting? Any new strategies?
No, the issue is that it's not rocket science at all.
Okay.
It's just it's treating it. When you're a coffee roaster, you're like a chef.
Okay.
And so you may make this awesome soup as a chef, and the ingredients change. throughout the year. The eggs change the flavor of fresh eggs from a farm, different herbs and spices. Same thing with coffee. It depends on the way the coffee comes out, depends on so many different variables. When I put in the coffee roaster, one is, many ones are the ambient temperature of the room, temperature outside, the environment which I'm roasting, how quickly you get to certain temperature, slowly, the altitude at which the coffee grew, the quality, the soil quality, which side of the mountain, the climate, what happened that year, where did they pick the coffee.
And this is all stuff you've gathered through your own research over time.
Yes, and still do.
Okay.
The cool thing about being a coffee roaster and a businessman is that I love acquiring new knowledge. I get a new bag of coffee. What's the altitude at which it grew? It'll change how I roast the coffee. And the surprise that when, right about when the roasted coffee is going to come out, I smell it. There's one of the pictures I think you have of that.
Yeah, let me bring that exactly up because I was going to ask you, what is it? What do you smell?
So right now, this is a couple of minutes before it's coming out of the roaster, and I'm smelling it because 70 to 80% of the taste of anything is the aroma.
Okay.
So it's all about the aroma. It's not about the look. If it's dark or light, I just don't care. The temperature, I don't care about that. I care about where's the sweet spot. If you listen to anyone who's a master roaster, master brewer, master distiller, they're all talking about that sweet spot.
Okay.
There are all these different times that I could stop the coffee from roasting, and it would still be good.
Okay.
But where's that spot where it's going to be awesome? It's going to be the best version of that coffee.
And did you get it down to just a science, or is it more intuition, a feel for that sweet spot? Like, how do you know?
I don't think there's any real science about it. It's my coffee. I used to have people roasting coffee for me.
Okay. In other words, you weren't doing the roasting with people were roasting it for you.
I taught them how to roast for me, and I've had so many awesome roasters for me, and the pandemic changed a lot of stuff, but I'm glad to be back.
Sure.
But they always asked me, do we want it consistent?
Right.
So for one coffee, famous coffee that I started roasting back in 2009, and no other roasters had it. And they have it now because I started it.
What is it?
But it's Ethiopia Harar.
Okay.
And I joke around, it's what God drinks. And it has notes of blueberry, cherry, pipe tobacco with a red wine finish.
Okay.
And so very complex and gorgeous, awesome coffee. If I roast it very light, it just tastes like blueberries. Like I'm just drinking blueberry juice. And if I roast it a little bit darker, I get chocolate. And 2 weeks later, if it's still around, it'll taste like chocolate. So I don't want it consistent. I just want it consistently good.
When you say 2 weeks later, meaning it hasn't sold out, or if the beans are still available?
Or if you have it in your pantry, 2 weeks later, coffee doesn't last that long in my house. But if it lasts 2 weeks later, my Ethiopia Harar, those blueberries dissipate and becomes chocolatey.
I was going to say, so over time, you can say at this date, this flavor is going to go down. This flavor is going to come up.
And so we know that, and we experiment with all of our coffees like that. So we know the full lifespan of that coffee. And after 3 weeks, I give away my coffee, 3 to 4 weeks, give away my coffee to homeless shelters or low-income housing.
Why? What is the 3 weeks?
Because coffee, when you first start roasting it, after it comes out of the roaster, it degasses with carbon dioxide. About 3 to 4 weeks, I found, is that when it's not awesome anymore, where it's staling. So I don't really want that. I won't sleep well at night if I have coffee on the shelves of Plum Market, Whole Foods, Randazzo Fresh Markets, and so on, Western Market. If it's old,
nothing beyond 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks, I could still, I could still go to sleep at night and sleep like a baby. But if there's coffee that's a month and a half on the shelves, it just it's not worth it.
Okay. Tell me about. So that's another one. That's a different chat. So these are the roasting
that's my
machines.
Old one.
Okay.
That I had in Ferndale for about
these are the photos I have.
13 years.
So what the roasting machines you have now are different than what we're seeing here? So, or are these the same ones?
These the first one is what I had in Ferndale. The one behind it, the previous picture is the new one.
Okay.
2 roasters. It used to take me with the one roaster, it used to take me 10 hours to roast 200 pounds.
How does
with
that
the run.
compare to
12 pounds at all.
Okay.
At a time.
And how does that compare to I don't know anything about coffee roasting. So is that out of the
So
ordinary, or?
I have a small roaster, and I do it on purpose because with about 12 pounds, you could comfortably smell what's going on. When I have some days when I've had a humongous amount of orders, I've prayed that I could have a 100-pound roaster, 50-pound or 50 pounds comes at the same time, but I don't really want that because I won't be able to taste what's going on, smell what's going on. So the second roaster is newer.
Yeah.
And with the 2 roasters, now that 10 hours is shrunk to 4 hours.
Okay.
So 200 pounds in 4 hours. And that's usually a normal day for us.
Those are like concentrated compared to I don't know, industrial coffee making. These are small, focused batches you're making.
Yes. So with humongous commercial coffee.
Right.
It's a awesome business for those who are involved in it. Lots of money in that, but you're not good with any kind of big food. Anything you make, and then you, congratulations, you have this awesome, humongous business. You can't make the same quality. It's impossible. It doesn't happen.
Bland, yeah.
Nowhere.
Just by the nature of it, right?
No, if I had 10 cafes, the quality is not going to be as good.
Okay.
It's just you have to cut corners in order to make more money. But my kind of business is all about making me happy, and that it has to be the highest quality coffee known in the land.
So then this location is going to be plans for massive expansion is what you're saying.
No, I just don't have the appetite for that.
Okay.
Because the only reason you do that is to make more money, and I'm happy.
Your satisfaction is coming from brewing and roasting and brewing a better cup of coffee rather than one single great cup of coffee rather than a million mediocre cups of coffee.
Yes. We're slower than other cafes. It's about getting close to perfection as you can with coffee.
So, Pete, this is the interior of the shop, right?
It is, but this is with a special. It has a coffee cupping table.
Yeah. So what are we looking at here? We have this shot and this shot. What are we seeing?
So you have 4 different coffees, single origin coffees, in cups, a scoop of in each cup, and when people come in there and populate, it's a coffee cupping party.
Okay.
Where we violently slurp and violently sniff the coffee. And this is what coffee professionals do all the time.
Violently slurp
and violently sniff.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you
very
explain
important.
both of those
the reason why,
techniques?
so when you take dainty sips,
Yeah.
like I'm doing with my cup of coffee, because it's kind of obnoxious to do this.
Yeah, that
to
can
slurp
be
my
depending on
coffee.
your audience, yeah.
But the reason why you do that is because you want to splash it all across your palate and get the full, what is the mouth feel? What's the texture? Where are you tasting it? Tasting in the middle of your palate? Are you tasting around your teeth? I want to know that. How does it taste up in the finish in the back of your throat? That's why we do the violent slurping. And the violent sniffing is 3 quick sniffs so that your olfactory system takes a mental snapshot.
Could you just do a demonstration of those?
Sort of like that. Taking sniffs like that, when you take a gentle sniff, your mind, it's not good. You're not going to really smell much. But doing something crazy like that, and I want to know what the different notes are, the aroma, because again, the aroma affects the taste.
So what you just explained to me, when people go to that.
They do that with great smiles on their face.
Everything you just explained how to do it. Okay.
And we try 4 different coffees.
Okay.
And people ask every question you ever had about coffee.
Okay.
We do this about once a month on a Wednesday night.
Do you have to make reservations, or what do you?
Make a reservation and prepaid and all of that.
Okay.
We have space. I have an awesome, beautiful cafe, but I only have space for 14 people plus 1 me.
So it's a limited engagement.
Once a month, and try 4 different coffees. The cool thing about it, and this is something that people realized last time, was that we then take their favorite coffee. After we analyze the aroma, the fragrance, the texture, the mouthfeel, the complexity, pungency, sweetness, all all these different
these attributes.
ways of analyzing coffee, then I ask the participants, what was your favorite?
Okay.
So we get a consensus. There's never where all 14 of them, all 14 jurors say
Right. Yeah.
guilty or not guilty. But and so we choose one, and then we try it as a French press, iced, vacuum siphon, espresso, pour over in Turkish, and show them how it could change dramatically. Wow. That those 6 different cups of coffee are 6 different cups of coffee. It's same bean.
Okay.
There's something else cool that we do that not many people have the courage to do it, is drinking for the cycle.
Wait, first explain what that is, and second explain where the fear comes from that prevents many people from doing it.
Well, if you have an issue with caffeine, then
right.
it may be worrisome.
Okay.
But and it takes about pretty much an hour and a half where you sit down, you choose a bean of our 34 different coffees, and we brew it one at a time. We give you a couple of minutes with each one.
Okay.
French press, iced, vacuum siphon, espresso, pour over in Turkish. And you see how awesome, how different they are depending on how they're brewed. So the ending about the coffee cupping party is that we do that. I have them taste my coffee sodas, and
that's a good. Yes, could you explain? I have a great. Yeah, what is a coffee soda, and not a coffee pop? What is a coffee soda?
I know it's we talked about this before, but I'm from New York City, and so it's soda. You can call it pop. You come to my cafe, we won't kick you out.
Okay.
Because I live in Michigan. I'm a Michigander now. But Brooklyn-born coffee soda was my first creation because I had a Jewish mother and an Italian Catholic father, and my Italian Catholic grandmother, Mary, lived in Brooklyn, and she'd asked me to buy this Manhattan Special espresso coffee soda that was really only in Brooklyn. Okay. And I'd bring up cases and cases of it, up a 3-floor walk up, because my grandmother drank this like water. Loved it. It had molasses, sugar. It was very tasty, and it still is very tasty.
Okay.
But fast forward, I opened up my coffee roastery, and I said, I want something like that.
Okay.
But I don't want to put sugar. I joke around, but I even wrote a book titled this, but if you put sugar, cream in your coffee, in my coffee, that God cries and an angel loses its wings.
Oh, okay.
And I'm only half joking about that.
Okay.
But the coffee soda, I decided, can I make an awesome tasting soda that just has carbonated cold brew? And the answer is yes.
So no added sugar.
No added sugar, no preservatives at all. I'm not going to be shipping across the country, so I don't have to add any kind of preservatives.
So you make it there?
Make it there, brew it there, and carbonate it there, and you can get it on tap.
Okay.
Someday I may sell it in growlers, but not yet.
Okay. Is that what this is?
Yes.
A bottle of it there?
Yes, yeah. Okay. I love that picture.
So the bottles are just a limited run there at the...
They're no longer being run. I still have lots of those bottles.
Okay.
But right now, it was too much work for us. Someday I'm going to have a local brewer. I have lots of local brewer friends who will do it for me. But it was too much work for us to do because we roast coffee. That's what...
I noticed also in that previous shot there was can you tell me about the cold brew? That looks like you have regularly?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have that constantly, very many different ones depending on my mood.
Okay.
What do I really want to drink? So we're constantly brewing cold brew. It's really brewed 12 to 16 hours overnight. Becomes a coffee concentrate. You can buy a bottle, get about 16-ounce glasses of iced coffee or hot coffee. 1 part the cold brew concentrate, 2 parts water, cold or hot, and you have an awesome cup of coffee. And a quick one.
And that's all year round?
All year round. And it sells very well even during crazy winters.
The colder months, yes, in Michigan. So the relatively new location in Berkeley.
Yes.
It had more physical space. You could have more roasters. You could have
more walk-in traffic too.
Exactly.
My walk-in traffic is up 35% from Ferndale.
And let me ask you about this before I get to the painting. What is the you say you guys have ice cream, coffee ice cream?
Coffee ice cream. So again, this is the reason that I can't have too many passions.
Okay.
Because I start something, it always starts off that I buy from the store bought.
Okay. That's where you start off.
That's where I start off. And it started with the pandemic that I wanted something fun. People are worried. People are very scared about what's happening in the world. And so I wanted something fun, but something coffee related. So affogato, where you have 2 scoops of ice cream and you drown it, affogato, with espresso. So Italian dessert. So we have no food in the cafe. But this is a little side excuse.
Treat.
Little fun. I don't count it as food. Count it as an Italian coffee dessert. And so did store bought for a while, and then I said I can make better.
Exactly.
And so this is the reason why I never bring in baked goods ever. The 1,000 reasons why you'll never get a bite to eat at my cafe, because if I did, eventually I would buy a bakery and my wife would divorce me. It's just enough.
You need to sleep like at least 30 minutes a night.
Yeah.
We saw in the background of that coffee ice cream photo, there was something being done outside on your building. So tell me, what do we have here?
Part of the reason I bought the building, and the dream I always had, even in Ferndale, but it wasn't my building, was to have a coffee a mural.
Okay.
And Berkley Chamber of Commerce and the DDA have been so incredibly awesome to us, as they are to every business in Berkeley. But I wanted something that was themed with music. One of our themes is, our slogans is "Good coffee makes you sing." But I didn't want to have people singing on there.
Okay.
Also, I play guitar, and so all these different themes. The artist is Howard Fritzen, and he and I developed this whole idea. It's all of his painting, and he's a great muralist all around the area.
And this is in progress right now, because it looks like there he is on the sketch. This is
so
very
it's
recent.
Almost done. Yeah, this is it's about another 2 weeks will be it'll be done, but it's just gorgeous, and you could see it from far away. So,
all right, Frank Lanzkron-Tamarazo.
Very good.
Final moments as a master roaster. What's the one thing you want people to know about coffee that nobody knows, nobody thinks about? What's the most important thing about coffee that people should really know here?
It's a very good question. That coffee is supposed to be something that enriches your life. That it should make you smile. If you need to put cream or sugar in coffee, if you really need to, because it's bitter or it's not very good, then life is short. Get some better coffee. Get some locally roasted coffee, even if it's not mine. But it should be consumed in small portions and just sit on your porch in your pajamas and just enjoy that awesome cup of coffee.
Look right into that camera. Tell them your name of your business, your location, where they can find out more information. This is your final pitch.
So, Chazzano Coffee Roasters in Berkeley, 2725 12 Mile Road. And anything else?
What's the website?
ChazzanoCoffee.com. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook.
And hopefully in the near future, well, maybe someday if you get some more time, you can formalize this mastery and offer maybe like a degree program at one of the local colleges. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay.
Part of the problem with that has always, people have asked me for decades about having a class. Yes. And and the problem with that, I have no, any coffee roaster, any cafe owner, any restaurant owner has any questions, I'll answer any questions. I'm completely an open book. But a lot of what I do as a master roaster is not something teachable as much. It's that passion. It's the curiosity, what different ways. It's really like cooking. It's not something technical to really teach. You have to be geeky about different notes, smelling the coffee while it's roasting, and you say, "Oh my God, this is so good! What does that smell like?" And really want to investigate that. So it's not rocket science.
That's great, Frank. We're wrapping up now. The last thing, what is the best? What's the most unique coffee you currently have in the shop? What are you doing? What do you want to tell me about the greatest coffee right now that you currently have? You're working
I
with?
can't say the greatest.
Okay.
I can't say the greatest. It's like saying which one is my which one of my children is my favorite
Sure, of course,
child.
yes.
And they have certain votes on that, but I have no favorites. Coffee, the same thing, but there's one coffee that I have. It's called Nicaragua Amargo Hipe, and the Amargo Hipe is a very large bean that grows when a certain natural mutation from a coffee tree, a typica varietal of coffee beans, it grows and it gets bigger and bigger. Those trees that develop like that are very low yielding trees.
Okay.
It takes a very long time. The coffee farmer, if they cut it down, they can get a tree that will produce like 3 times, 4 times more coffee than that. But I know about that coffee. I've had that coffee before over the decades, and it's one of my favorite cups of coffee ever. Crazy complex. And so I asked, sort of like Field of Dreams, I asked the coffee trader in Nicaragua, a friend of mine, I said, tell him not to cut it down, I'll buy it.
Okay.
It cost me a lot of money to do that, but it's really good for the farmers and it's really good for me. It makes me happy. And so usually I would get, if I was lucky, to get 50 pounds, and this is crazy rare coffee, 50 pounds of coffee, and instead they picked 700 pounds of coffee. So I took about 4 bags, about 500-600 pounds of coffee, and other roasters took the rest. But it's one of the best coffees up in the world, and it was literally picked for me.
Do you think you're like the only place in Michigan that has that coffee right now?
Yes,
Wow,
yes,
okay.
definitely know that. But I've had even rarer coffee. So all my coffee traders all around the world, they know that I love this stuff. Very geeky about it. So yeah, there was a Amargo Hipe that was a pea berry, which is a crazier, long conversation what pea berry is.
Okay.
But I only had 12 pounds. It was the only 12 pounds in the whole world.
Wow.
So I put it on back in 10 years ago, in the Middle Ages, I put it on Twitter that I had 12 pounds of this coffee, and it sold within about 30 minutes.
Do you have to have special security when you have like the only amount of coffee, like a special coffee like that?
No,
coffee-
it's not that expensive.
Are there coffee Murata
if I had bottles of wine that were, but this is, no matter what I sell, it's not going to be that expensive.
I'm glad there's no risk of coffee espionage or smuggling.
Yes, yeah. Well, there is, but that's a different, conversation for a different time, but not
Tune in part
local.
2. We'll get into the intrigue of the international coffee trade. Thank you, Frank. This is fantastic. This is Berkley Local, and we'll see you next time. Wow,
Thank you very much.
that's great.